Right, now, we are going to invite up the one and only Piper. Come on up. Aww. Here, you can hold this one in case you want to talk so. All right, so we can start through those slides there. That first slide we got in the bin for Piper and I. Wait to see that pull up. Wait, hold right there. I threw this in there. I forgot I threw this in there. Guess what some of you know what this picture is. Some of you may not. Raise your hand if you were in this picture. 1, 2, a few up here. This was the first Piper's Angels event in 2016. And to put it in perspective, that photo of this beautiful community as it was coming together to support Piper, our family, the CF community, that was before family number 1 that we supported. And Ryan Burgess, when he gets up to speak, he's going to speak about that family. And now it's over 1,000 families. But just to give you that perspective on how far we've come in a short period of time, building this grassroots organization, and it's because of the Crossing community. So thank you. All right, next photo. All right, look at that little nugget. That's Piper at 18 months old. Now, at 18 months old, Piper was sick. She was coughing a lot. We didn't know why. I mean, it was tough to listen. As many of you know who have kids in here and little ones, when your little one is sick, it's gut-wrenching, right? Because you don't know what to do. And you want everything in the world for them to feel better. But in the world of CF, that's not always the case. We just didn't know at that time that it was cystic fibrosis, that's what was coming. And it wasn't until actually she was 4 years old, so that was 18 months, so 4 years old, that she was diagnosed. You can flip to the next one. So right after Piper's diagnosis, we learned about the incredible connection of the ocean and the healing benefits for people with CF. So this is the first time that Piper and I ever went paddleboarding on a paddleboard together when she was 4 years old. That's in the Ermine River in North Palm Beach. And it was some of my fondest memories of Piper because we'd be paddling along, and you know kids have wild imagination. She'd pick up a stick and help me paddle, right? She'd see a manatee, or we'd see turtles out there, stingrays, and it was just incredible because I look back and, well, now she's a teenage girl. And I miss those cute little days, but she's still sweet. And, you know, at this time, right, it was pretty heavy and heartbreaking, the diagnosis and carrying that and not knowing what Piper's future had in store. But what I will say was learning about the connection to the ocean, right, and getting out there with her. It was the first time that I really felt that seed of gratitude start to come alive again, because it was creating this opportunity for us. Would I have taken her anyways? Maybe, but I wasn't a paddleboarder. I wasn't a surfer. But this possibility of her health and her future was out there on the water. And I think a lot of us are connected to the water. And it's so valuable and important. And it was such a beautiful part of the journey. I don't know, Piper, do you remember anything about any of those paddles? Probably not.
I remember like surfing and you taking me out into what I thought was really big, scary waves. But it was fun.
You survived.
Yeah.
She made it. All right, next slide. So there's Piper. This is after the beach landing in 2013. And I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a timeline for context tonight to start it off. That was, the first crossing, which I think some folks will touch on. It was definitely a harrowing night. We got really rough weather, and it was a lot. It was the hardest event I think I've ever planned. It was a big journey, and it culminated with, getting back to Florida. And in that moment, for me, it was like, what can I do for Piper? What can I do that, let's say I wasn't here next year, right? And as she grew up as a little girl, what could we do to show her that living with cystic fibrosis is an opportunity? And there's a way to define your life with CF and not the disease to define your life. And that was really the culmination of that moment and that journey that year. And I know you guys know, for many of you who've had kids, or you've been a child, or you have nephews, nieces, whatever it is. It's like when you get to really look in a child's eyes, what do you see? It's like pure love, right? It's just so pure. And for me, that was such a healing journey. And many of you have now joined me on that journey. So I really am filled with so much gratitude. Next picture, please. All right, fast forward. Now, what you don't see between these beautiful pictures is Piper at 2013. This is 2017. This was when we brought the crossing back, because during that 4-year period, from 13 to 17, Piper had some of the roughest years of her life, in and out of the hospital for very long periods of time. And in that window, I got to learn a lot about the cystic fibrosis community. And the one thing that stood out to me was that this is a rare disease. And there are a lot of families going through a lot of challenging times. But there wasn't that much support in place. And that's what brought us to create Piper's Angels Foundation. And so when we reopened the event in 2017, I'll never forget, I was in Josh Ferris's apartment in Marco Island. And I said to Josh, if we open this to the public, do you think people will do it? And he goes, well, sign me up. I'll do it. So you got 2 paddlers. And that year we had 34 paddlers in 2017. And it was a really memorable year. We tried to make it to the Dania Pier. Bad idea. Too much Gulf Stream pushing us north. So it was like 99 strokes on the right, 1 on the left. It was really tough. There was a local chiropractor that I saw him a couple weeks after this event, and he's like, hey, you're Travis, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you did that paddle thing, yeah? And I said, yeah. And he said, yeah, you sent me a bunch of crooked paddlers. We were all hitched a little sideways, but all right, you can roll to the next one. So we fast forward through those years, from that beautiful little Piper at 18 months old, before her diagnosis, to just after her diagnosis, to through the years of the crossing, and we come to this moment. And to come through that, to come through everything that we've been through together, and to get to a place where this year Piper and I were on a relay team together, and we got to paddle in the ocean together in the crossing, our first time paddling in the crossing together. Like, what that moment meant to me just meant the world. That she's healthy enough, that she's strong enough, which is a lot of what we fight for these kids with CF and these families, is so they can be healthy and strong, so they can live their life to the fullest. And so that was a really beautiful and special moment. Anything you want to share or reflect on about paddling this year in the ocean?
Don't put me on the spot.
You're on the spot.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was a different experience than I was expecting because of the change and everything. But honestly, I think all of the stress and changes made this moment more special, because everything that we'd been through and everything of that year and on the changes, we still ended up on the water together and paddling as a team, and we still made it to the finish line. So I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Well said. And I think there might be one more, or a couple more. I think there's one more. Oh, yeah. So the reason why this is so important to me is if you look back at little Piper there, right? What I take away from this and what you guys have given me the gift of, truly, is to see Piper grow up and to have a voice. To be proud of who she is, to be able to advocate for CF in these families that we support. And so to see her up on stage, you can flip to the next one. To see her be vulnerable and emotional and strong and share. That was her first time speaking in Bimini. It means so much. And to have her up here with me tonight, it really does mean so much. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because this community, as a father, has given me so much. And I promise I will just keep giving everything that I have to make sure that we keep going. Just keep going. And if it just requires showing up in Bimini every year to paddle across the ocean, I signed up for my 9th crossing this morning. We're just going to keep going. So I appreciate you guys joining the ride. And for everybody out there watching the live stream, thank you for tuning in. And I hope you guys enjoy the upcoming storytellers. Thank you, Piper. All right.